welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
I'm Chris Costa.
Chris, what should we talk about today?
Well, can we discuss how to create different views and scheduling, maybe to zero in on a particular cost center or a set of cost centers?
Sure, that'd be a great topic. As you said, you can create these different views or favorites, they're called, in scheduling, where, you can do different things. You can see just a certain set of cost centers, maybe a particular department set of cost centers. And you can do other things like just see a certain set of jobs based on a criteria.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing certain cost centers is probably the one that I see people like or use most often.
Right. Okay. That'd be great if we could take a look.
Sure, let's take a look.
All right.
So let me open up Enterprise here, and we'll go into scheduling. And I'm actually in a plant, so let me remove my plant ID. So now I'm looking at all cost centers that I have set up for scheduling in my database. Now, one thing you can already do without a view is you can go to this filter menu and choose a cost center filter. And in here you can select a range. So if I wanted to look at, for example, just my presses, I can click on the drop down here and I can start at my large, my Quick Master press and go all the way down to my Xerox press. So those are all of my presses, but I can do a start and an end only, and it's going to show me anything I have scheduled for any presses.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, though. I can't say I just want to see certain things. So they have to. Those are contiguous.
Right.
What's great about the views or the favorites is that you can pick just certain cost centers. So if you just want to show maybe a mailing department or a large format department, and that may have some pre-press, a couple of presses, some post-press processes, you can segregate that into a view so that you can make a view so that department can just see their stuff.
Okay.
So let's look at that.
Good.
So I'm going to first remove my cost center view, so I'm seeing everything, and I'm going to go into, here's what's showing me the view I'm using right now. So I have something called Cost Center View 1 week. That's the default in the system. So it's showing me all cost centers that have something scheduled, and I'm looking at a week. So I'm going to click on this Favorites button here, which opens up a Favorites window where I can edit or create new views. So let's take a look at my large format view. I'm going to edit that one. In this one, I called it large format. I've given it a date range of 1 week, and I've picked the cost centers here that I want to see. And now that I've done that, when I select it here, now I'm looking at only those cost centers, and you can see that they're not contiguous.
Right.
So let's do a similar one for mailing. Maybe I want to make one for my mailing department, so I'm going to add that view. So I click on that button, and now I'm going to click on the Add button here, and we'll give it a name of mailing. Actually, let me look at all my cost centers first so I can see the numbers. So let me go back to my view here. So I'm looking at the numbers here. It's a little bit easier to enter them. So now I'm going to go in and make my mailing view. I'm going to pick my date range. So we'll do a week. That's usually a good time to see it. Now when you get to here, this is where you pick the particular field that you want to look at. And if I want to look at cost centers, I want to look at the scheduled cost center field. So I'm going to pick that field, and then I put the criteria in here. So my first mailing field that I would want to look at may be my insert here of 630001. So I can enter that here. And then I want to also, you have to pick specific in order to do that, so that it will match that cost center exactly. I hit the Add button here, and it adds it to the list. Now I can go pick the next one I want to see, which is 75001, and add that one. And you can keep going and build this list for however many cost centers that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Once I save that, close out of here, then I can come in here and go into my mailing view, and now I'm looking at just the mailing cost centers.
Okay.
Now there is one option that you absolutely have to have unchecked in order for this to work.
Mm-hmm.
In the scheduling options, there's an option where you can turn on to see all cost centers.
Okay.
Whether they're scheduled or not.
Right.
So you'd see all your cost centers that you allow for scheduling, and if there's nothing scheduled, it would still show that. Well, if you have that turned on, it's going to ignore your cost centers in
It'll
your
show
view.
everything anyway, yeah.
Right. So let me just show you what that is.
Okay.
So let's go up to the File menu and go to Options. and that would be under the cost center options, and it's this option here that you would absolutely have to have unchecked.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Now, when you were building the view, there was an option on there to use date zoom as interval
Yes.
checkbox. When would you want to select that or not?
That just, we have a date zoom button, and that option just controls how that button works. And let me show you the two ways it can work.
Okay.
So in my mailing option, or my mailing view, let me edit that. You'll see I have it unchecked. With it unchecked, here's your zoom down here. These buttons here that will go in and out, if I click on them, they'll switch from today to 1 week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks to 1 month and then to a custom period. Basically, it's just toggling through these choices.
Right.
Okay. Now let's go look at my favorite view for large format. If I edit that, I do have it checked. So let's look at that view. And with that checked now, when I hit the plus sign, it goes into what's called a custom period, and it just goes basically 1 week ahead. If I hit the minus sign, it goes 1 week behind. So I can just make it, it stays at 1 week, or it changes, it says here custom period, but it's really still staying at a week, but it's just changing the date range here to the previous week.
And that's because you set it at 1 week.
Correct.
In the view, right.
In the view. So it takes whatever that time period is in the view, and then the plus and minus just moves you that amount of time up or back.
Okay.
Which is, I think, a nice option so that you can quickly go back a week or forward a week on your schedule.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Now, can we do anything else with views besides just filtering at a cost center level?
Sure. You can use the views for really anything. You can filter on any field that's in your data grid. So you could use it to filter out a list of, certain jobs, or really using any field that's in that grid. For example, I have a view here called folded jobs. And what I did here is I added to my data grid, you see it here in the grid at the bottom, and the standard way you would add it by right-clicking, going to options and columns, you add the field. And I have a field on the order header user defined where I either set that to be folded, flat, or bound. So folded if it's a folded product, flat if it's a unfolded product, or bound if it's a bound product.
Right.
So say I wanted to just look at the schedule, I just want to look at all jobs that were folded. Well, I have my folded view now. So let's cancel out of here, and let's go select that view. So now I'm looking at all jobs here are jobs that have folded in it, and now I'm seeing all the cost centers that have those jobs scheduled.
Okay. That's good.
So really for anything, but I think I find the cost center one, the most common one that people like to use to be able to do different views for different departments.
Makes the most sense, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Good.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I think that was good.
Well, thank you, and thank you for joining us for another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
I'm Chris Costa.
Please look forward for more to come.